I think my recent live stream of this game kinda hinted that something like this was on the way. The kingdoms in this game are some of the best levels I've ever seen, and I had a blast ordering them. I'm taking into account their visuals, music, level designs, captures, how well they use said captures, etc. But before that, I want to give a quick honourable mention to the Wooded Kingdom. I love how one side is forest, one side is factory. There's tons of secret routes that are a blast to take, and the up routes are really enjoyable to use. But anyway, let's go! If there's one thing a 3D Mario game always does right, it's the opening level, and the Cap Kingdom is no exception. Like any great level, it teaches you all the basics for its level design. You start off with learning the new physics before you meet Cappy and realise his motivation for going after Bowser, which sets up the entire game. Then after that, you have these poles to practice using Cappy on with no threats around, which leads up to this giant hat tower. This section in the hat tower teaches you about the new catch mechanic with the frog, all of which is done with only telling you the basic controls in a safe environment, and it's done bloody brilliantly. Once you're at the top, it'll test your Cappy throwing knowledge with the game's first boss, and at that point you head off to the next kingdom. Once you return, moons will now become available, as well as the frog and Paragoon captures, which you'll need for some of those moves. I also really like the art style of this kingdom. The monochromatic colours really make it stand out amongst the other kingdoms and opening levels in the series. It goes especially well with all those destroyed buildings on your first time through. This level does everything a great first level should do. It does a great job of introducing you to the mechanics of the game, and it sets up the rest of the game really well, and that's why it just made my list. The Cap Kingdom is a good kingdom, but it's more or less the tutorial world. The Cascade Kingdom is where things really get going. It kicks off with a bang, with that beautiful grass landscape and that banging soundtrack that's incredibly proud of itself. The main new captures here are the Chain Chomps and the T-Rex. The T-Rex admittedly isn't that great, as its controls aren't that good and feels underused, but the Chain Chomp was really useful in breaking pathways to moons, and used to defeat this heavily overweight Mama Broodal, who gets easily tired after running for only 5 seconds. So to all those body positivity activists out there, as we can see here, being a beast will only get you killed. The boss itself is really good though, as it tests your knowledge of the new capture in this kingdom, and to save time for later, most of the later bosses outside of the Bowser and Broodal fights also do this really well. Like I already said, I feel like this is where the game really gets going. It's where you'll get your first moon, it's where you'll find your first 8-bit section, and it's where you fight your first major boss. Oh, and it was a joy to explore the whole kingdom once you took her out. It's a bit of a shame that the Cloud Kingdom and the Ruin Kingdom are only really boss levels with few moons to find, especially in the latter's case. In the former's case, you have your first fight with Bowser here. After you beat him, he decides to be smart for once and blasts you and the Odyssey away. And very similar to 20 years ago, Mario fortunately lands safely from a great height into the Lost Kingdom. Seriously, a little more to the left or right and he'd be history. Actually, what would happen to him as he'd go back to the last checkpoint, which would be in the cloud, whatever. The Lost Kingdom is awesome. The kingdom starts out with Klepto, which in the brochure says likes carrying smaller visitors away, stealing your hat, a nice homage to Super Mario 64. However, with some skill, you can get all of the moves you need to advance to the next kingdom without activating Klepto. After you retrieve Cappy back, you'll be able to use the Tropical Wigglers here. These Tropical Wigglers are put to great use, as you'll need them to make those tiny platforms a lot easier to deal with around that instant kill poison, especially in the Poison Geyser area. The other area is this giant mountain, which has many secrets inside the mountain to find. It is one of the smaller kingdoms, but with danger everywhere, you'll need to be careful, and that's why this kingdom is a fun time. So after you complete the Bowser Kingdom, you can finally complete the Odyssey to fly up to the moon where Bowser has fled to, and it's where you'll fight the final boss, and boy is the level leading up to it amazing. Most of the Moon Kingdom is just alright. This wedding building you can climb on with the frog is fun to jump around, but the rest of it's kinda bland. A lot of this part of the kingdom is just empty space, although the low gravity is put to good use for some of the moons. But I think there could be something a little more exciting. Here we go! The core of the moon is the reason why the Moon Kingdom is on this list, as that music is constantly telling you, this is it, you're on your way to the final battle. And it uses a lot of the captures used throughout the game, and even some new ones. It feels so rewarding to make progress here. And that's not the last time you'll be seeing the core either. After you take out the final boss, you get to take control of Bowser, otherwise known as one of the best captures in the game, as you try to make your escape, which ultimately culminates with the masterpiece of the Break Free song. This final section was one heck of a way to end the game. So yeah, whilst the moon on the surface isn't the greatest, the bits inside the core of the moon are more than enough for me to love this kingdom. When the Metro Kingdom was first revealed, I wasn't as hyped as a lot of others were, but as you can probably guess, I certainly love it now. The kingdom's clearly inspired by New York with all the buildings everywhere, and jumping and fleeing across the buildings was a lot of fun. Though that's not what the kingdom looks like at first. The kingdom actually kicks off like it's in the UK with it chucking it down, and you'll have to go through the sea and the storm to take out this mecha wiggler, which somehow stops the storm. Logic. At that point you can 3D explore the kingdom, running through the streets and bouncing off the cars, riding motorcycles through the city and to outrun a T-Rex. Wait, what? And like I already said, climbing the buildings, which you'll need to do to find all of the musicians. This is one of the biggest kingdoms in the game, and there's a lot to do. It actually has the highest moon quota out of all the kingdoms, even more than the Sand Kingdom. But the main highlight of this kingdom is the festival at the end once you find all 4 musicians, where you get to go through quite possibly the best 8-beat section in the game, with Jump Up Superstar playing in the background, which I've caught myself singing along with multiple times. It's so catchy, and it's stuff like this why I love Odyssey so much. Fire levels are one of the most common level types in the Mario series, usually appearing near the end, and this game is no different. But it also has one of the coolest ideas for a fire level with the Luncheon Kingdom. Instead of lava, we now have really hot stew. As you can see, the whole level is themed around food, which makes it one of the more creative kingdoms in the game. The lava stew is also well used with the main new capture here, the lava podoboo, which allows you to safely travel through it to reach faraway islands. I also feel like this kingdom has some of the best platforming sections with regular Mario in the game, with the climbing up to the piece of meat, the platforming inside the pod to the first multi-moon, and most notably, the climb up the volcano on the home stretch. Oh, and Cooker Shell is one of my favourite bosses in the game. Combining level themes isn't uncommon. I mean, they combined ice and fire well in the Galaxy games, but the way they combined the fire and food themes together was absolutely brilliant, and it has some top-notch level design to go with it. The only downside of this place is that it makes me really hungry. Super Mario Odyssey has some of the best water sections in the series. The Lake Kingdom is honestly a contender for my favourite water level out there. Odyssey was already pretty good by this point, but when I first got here, this is where I found out this game was going to be something special. And that started from the visuals. Bloody hell, this kingdom looks amazing. And that music is incredibly relaxing as well. The reasons why the underwater sections are so awesome is because of the cheap capture. With this, Mario can swim much faster and has infinite air, so you can explore these depths to your heart's content. Underwater exploration with the cheat was an absolute blast. Probably the most fun I've ever had underwater in a video game. The sections outside of the water are also really enjoyable. The domed water plaza, which has various falls to explore, the zipper captures that can unveil some of the best bonus areas in the game, and if you know what you're doing, you can get to the boss of this kingdom in less than 30 seconds. The Lake Kingdom really stood out from the levels before it during my initial run, thanks to its breathtaking visuals, relaxing music and atmosphere, and the joy of finding moons both in and out of the water. Ever since Galaxy 2, 3D Mario games have always ended off with an incredibly hard level that tests everything you know about the game's physics. In Super Mario Galaxy 2, we had the perfect run. In Super Mario 3D World, we had Champion's Road. And in Super Mario Odyssey, we have Long Journey's End. It may be the only moon in the darker side of the kingdom, but it is hard as hell to get. I mean, I've played this level loads, so now I can get it on my first try, but first time round, this level tore me apart. It starts off with Goombas and this food though, but you can just straight up ignore them. The level really starts with these poles that sink into the lava, after which you platform on these fast moving ramps over lava, before making tricky jumps with the lava podoboos, which shoot you into an area with the up route, followed by dodging fuzzies in freezing water, and then up these 2 vertical conveyors with Yoshi. After that you travel along the flower road to this section where you have to maneuver through a section with blocks trying to push you out without Cappy. Immediately after that, you'll use glider to dodge these bonflies whilst catching the air drafts, which you can use to your advantage to completely skip the flinging forks over the lava. The trickiest section is when you go through this pipe near the end, because you'll be all over the place trying to deal with the rainbow bastards everywhere. Because seriously, so many burbos. Also, whatever you do here, do not hit that center pulse beam, as a shockwave will trigger off other ones and it'll just become a cluster. This nerve-wracking part with the Pokios can screw itself. The DK section isn't too bad as long as you move the camera. The last section, you get to control Bowser again, which like I said earlier, is one of the best captures in the game. Just be careful you don't slip off here, as there's no checkpoints anywhere in this kingdom, so die once and it's all the way back to the opening poles. But once you've conquered all of that, the game thanks you for playing it, which is incredibly satisfying, and you can climb up that last building to claim your prize. This level is pretty much everything awesome about Odyssey, with the top-notch level design that makes great use of the captures and your moveset. The level is very hard and long, but man, the feeling you get climbing that last tower, knowing you've conquered all of this, it's indescribable, especially with that music. Thank you to me? No, thank you, Odyssey. Bowser has had many castles throughout the Mario series, but the one in Odyssey just might be the best one yet, being heavily based on Japanese architecture. Right at the start, you can enjoy the beautiful architecture, the breathtaking colours of the sky, and that phenomenal music piece as you use the Sparkies to travel from courtyard to courtyard, which was incredibly satisfying to do. It's here you also meet the Pokios, which you'll see a lot more of in the second half of this kingdom. After having a rematch with the two last Broodals, you'll be using the Pokios to climb up to the building until you reach Bowser at the top. The Pokios can be a bit annoying at times, but it is useful for the boss at the end. Oh yeah, you end the kingdom with a fight against the best boss in the game. It's got an amazing opening, the music is amazing, and it's so satisfying to knock one of the bunnies out. Also, remember when I said it was awesome to get an awesome send-off before the final world in my Cuphead bosses video? Yeah, it's the same here. After that, the second section opens up a lot more, with many secret areas to find on the sides, most notably the Sky Slope area, which was pretty much my coin farming area before Luigi's Balloon World became a thing. Overall, the Bowser Kingdom is phenomenal. Phenomenal visuals, phenomenal music, phenomenal atmosphere, phenomenal level design, and just an overall blast to play on. When I first thought about doing this list, I knew this one was going to be high on the list. I freaking love the Seaside Kingdom. This kingdom is pretty much everything I love about Super Mario Odyssey. Breathtaking visuals, a beautiful music piece, fun to use captures, a boss that uses said captures, well done platforming, well hidden secrets, massive replay value. Man, it's been a while since I've heard that one-up sound. Thanks for getting rid of the lives, Odyssey. This kingdom is just one of the many reasons why I love Odyssey so much, and it might be my favourite level in the Mario series. And hey, if you want more Odyssey, you can check out my video on the hardest moves in this game if you wish. Either way, thanks for watching guys, see ya!